What's this book about? Well, I suppose you could say taters, boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about The Martian by Andy Weir, which just does feature potatoes quite heavily here. But this is, I feel like, really, really well known. So most people are probably somewhat familiar with this. It has a movie, which I've actually still not seen. So let me know. I'm pretty sure people liked that, but let me know if I should watch it because I never actually saw the movie. But about our character, the titular Martian, if you will, who is Mark Watney, who, after a kind of freak accident with a Mars mission, is stuck on his own and is trying to figure out how to survive on Mars until hopefully somebody can rescue him. And that's the setup here. And he doesn't, like, I am curious just because the way the character's written does not scream Matt Damon to me. So I'd be curious about the movie. I probably end up watching it anyway, just because I'm curious, to be honest, with how well it's adapted. But yeah. So I will say, I didn't realize when I was first reading this that this is actually Andy Weir's debut novel. So that does give him some more credit for me, because I do think there are some flaws here, and there's some critiques that I definitely have, although it's still a book that I really enjoyed. And I feel like Andy Weir just writes things that he's really good at engaging the reader and getting you to root for the characters, root for what's going on. And so that really makes a difference. I do feel, though, that because I started with Project Hail Mary, and it's the only two that I've read, but Project Hail Mary, I loved everything about it. And there are some things, I think some of his style that he was still ironing out here that he really nails in Project Hail Mary. So for me, I don't think I was ever going to enjoy this as much. Maybe if I would have started with this one instead of Project Hail Mary, but I still had a really good time with it, and I just couldn't help but rooting for the character. And that's really what it's. So Mark Watney is like a very sarcastic character, making lots of jokes. There's some shades of that you see. But the issue for me is that we do have other POVs. We have people back on Earth. We have our astronauts and everything, but everybody sort of feels a little bit the same with the narrative voice. There's not really a lot of different viewpoints, different styles. Everybody kind of feels the same. So it doesn't necessarily feel like you have unique characters, and it makes a lot of the characters feel a little bit more one note. Thankfully, though, we're mostly focusing on Mark, and so I still found myself not really having a lot of trouble rooting for him. And it's like, you're reading this book, and you know how it's probably going to end. You know what's probably going to happen, but at the same time, it's just like the tension, is there. I felt myself just really rooting for this character, and part of the story is, that everybody's kind of rallying, everybody's really focused and wants to find a way to save him, and so it's really easy to get sucked up into that, to just rooting and being like, yeah, we got to figure out how to save Mark Watney, and so that's really ultimately where I still found myself really enjoying this. I really liked the ending. I thought it was really well done and strong, and just I was very engaged by that point, although I was a little bit slower getting in, I think just because the fact that it felt a little bit weird character-wise. This does do the style where at least from him, he's just making updates in like a diary and narrating what's happened, so it jumps around a bit, and then we'll see POVs from the people on Earth as well. So I know not everybody's as crazy about that, and that's where I think with Project Hail Mary, just to loop back that way, was more novel format. Also had kind of a joking and a little bit of a sarcastic type of main character in a way, but was a little bit more distinct and had another character who was like the polar opposite, which I think really helped, having more contrasting characters. But he's got a penchant for writing the earth-shattering scenarios. This was more of a small scale for one person, but I think worked really well. I do think he does a really good job with the harder science elements as well here too. Again, though, Project Hail Mary, I found the science really interesting and really well done, not over the top. Here, I feel like there were certainly points where it felt more like I was being lectured a little bit. And so while I do tend to like some of the harder science elements in there, there were a few points here where it just went a little bit too far for me, I think. And just kind of, I'm like, okay, I get it. Let's go over. Let's move past it. But I think it ultimately works. And again, this is one of those things where I feel like if you're a character reader, as long as you like the main character, you're probably going to really enjoy this. If you're reading more for the plot, you might have a little bit of a harder time. If you're sort of just a mix like me, I think it's a really solid story. It has its flaws, it has its quirks, but I think Andy Weir is a good enough writer that it just made it worth it to keep reading. And so ultimately, I had a lot of fun with this one. So there you have it, though. Those are my thoughts on The Martian by Andy Weir. Let me know your thoughts on this. And again, I guess on the movie too. there, and which one you like better too, let me know. Otherwise, make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the links in the description as always for the Patreon if you want to support what I do, as well as the Wizardly Enclave Discord if you want to chat books, whether this book, other books, really anything at all. It's a lot of fun and we'd love to have you. And of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.